Hi, my name's Matt. I'd like to welcome you to this Zinniac video, which is part of our ITIL Strategist course, Direct, Plan and Improve. And in this video, we're going to be looking at value, outcome, costs and risks as they apply to Direct, Plan and Improve. So on the slide, we can see the value scales that you will be familiar with from ITIL Foundation. And you can see that when we deliver a service, in order to deliver or co-create value, with our service consumer, supported outcomes of the service, the cost removed and the risk removed must be greater, must weigh more than the negatively affected outcomes, the costs introduced, i.e. what we're charging for the service, and any risks introduced. So that's the balance we're looking for, where we support outcomes, we remove costs, we're removing more costs than we're charging, we're removing more risks than we're introducing, supporting more outcomes than any negatively affected outcomes, and that's how we co-create value. Having said that, an organisation may choose to accept diminished outcomes, increased costs or additional risk. So put more weight on the left-hand side of those scales as you look at them, if this will create the possibility of increased value, i.e. they believe that it will put greater weight on the right-hand side. And obviously, there's risk, i.e. uncertainty around all this. We're not guaranteed. The supported outcomes, the cost removed and the risk removed aren't guaranteed. There is uncertainty about them. We will have a certain level of assurance. We may define it, very high, high, medium, low, very low. If it's low or very low, we're almost certainly not buying the service. But hopefully it's high, very high, that we think we're going to get those supported outcomes. And again, on the left-hand side, the affected outcomes, the cost introduced, the risk introduced, will have some uncertainty about that. Even the cost introduced, even how much am I paying for the service? We should have a pretty high level of confidence as to what that will be, because it'll be in the contract that we're going to sign and we're going to agree to pay that money. But if you've ever been involved in contract negotiation or payments, even in just personal life, you'll know there's still very often some level of uncertainty around it. So that might just be, on a yearly basis, we will increase by RPI. Oh, right, okay, so I don't know what RPI is going to be, so I don't know what the increase is going to be. Or there may be charges for additional services. When I lease my car, it's going back on Wednesday in 2 days' time, day after tomorrow, and I knew what I was going to pay on a monthly basis for the lease, and that has, for 3 years, that has been fixed, that hasn't changed. So absolutely there was certainty around that. But I've had a couple of charges for road tax because the government increased road tax, so they've charged me a differential for the road tax. And then when it goes back, gone over the miles, so there'll be an additional charge for the miles. And obviously I didn't know exactly how many miles I was going to drive. I don't think anybody knew. No, well, nobody does know exactly how many miles you're going to drive in 3 years, so there's always a little charge there. And then finally, are they going to accept any minor damage to the car as fair wear and tear, or are they going to say no, that's beyond fair wear and tear and we're going to have an additional charge for you? So there's always the important thing is that there's always uncertainty around those things. It's just a question of our level of confidence. The key point really when we're directing, planning and improving is to make conscious decisions. So if we decide to take additional risk or increase the costs or diminish outcomes, then because we think we're going to get more value, that's fine, providing it's a conscious decision. What we don't want is to accept any of those things unconsciously, to find, oh, why did we accept that additional risk, or why did we accept that additional cost? Well, we didn't realize we were. That's bad. Yeah, that unconscious acceptance. But if we're conscious, we're saying, yes, we consciously know that if we take this course of action, it's going to increase the cost, or if we take this course of action, it's going to diminish the outcomes. Then we've made a conscious decision, and we can view that as in, we're going to get this increased value. That is fine. So particularly around obviously the directing and planning areas, but also improve, because increasing value is an improvement. So it's really making conscious decisions and documenting. When I say document, don't freak out because I'm saying document. I'm not saying write a 100-page document, but somewhere, it could literally just be a line on a spreadsheet or one entry in a database system, in an IT system, to say, we made this decision for this reason. This was the data we had. This is the outcome we're expecting. So you can then, at some point in the future, say, and what happened? Was it the right thing to do? Should we have made a different decision? What do we think? So that you can try and improve your decision going forward. So again, just because it's on my mind because my car's going back, I took out a contract for 10,000 miles a year. Previously, I'd had contracts, I think I had one which was 20,000 miles a year. I reduced it to 15, I reduced it to 10,000 this time. We have gone over. Did have a discussion around whether that was a good thing to do, but you never really you don't want to send it back not having used all the miles, because then you've paid for some miles you haven't used. So it's a question of how much of a balloon payment you're prepared to accept at the end, really. And over time you can look at it and modify how much you drive if you really want to reduce it. So we're doing too much, we're going to drive less. But again, you've leased the car, surely you've leased it so you can use it. But it's making those conscious decisions. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please join me in the next one. Until then, have a great day.